Justin?
So Dalton, on the other side of Kansas State, you have Gunnar Maldonado. What was it like sharing the same secondary with him, and how you reflect on his time here?
Yeah, I always appreciate my boy Gunnar. He's a great athlete and a great teammate. We definitely had a connection when he was playing here. College football is a business these days, and he decided to transfer over to K-State. Never mad at him, wishing him the best of luck, and excited to see him this weekend and see if he gets out there and plays.
And then what has impressed you about how Genesis has taken over that free safety spot that Gunnar has played the last few years?
Yeah, like I mentioned, me and Gunnar had a really good connection out there, so, the trust was there, and just, it makes it easier to play fast and just move around. And Genesis definitely stepped up into that role as far as building each other's trust with each other, and then just playing hard and physical and knowing, the other one's going to be there, and we're just going to get it done together.
Brian and Michael?
Trey, some of the coaches have mentioned that, from the spring to the fall, that there's been a lot of improvement and transition for you. What took a while for you to kind of get acclimated here?
I think just honestly adjusting to the playbook, getting comfortable, and just building that relationship with Noah, building a relationship with the rest of my team, and just gaining trust overall. I struggled a little bit in the spring just with different things on the field, and I think that over the summer, I took a lot of time to adjust and look into the plays and look into the playbook, just understand more about what's going on the football field in general, and it allowed me to be more comfortable and confident on the field during the summer or during fall camp.
And when it came to looking at schools, did you know that Kansas State was going to be on Arizona's schedule when you were looking at schools, or did that not really factor in?
I was aware, but it wasn't like oh, I'm gonna go to Arizona because I know we're gonna play Kansas State, But definitely when I committed here, I thought it was going to be an awesome opportunity to play against my old teammates again. And, I thought that was a cool little detail.
Michael and Troy?
Dalton, you missed the Kansas State game last year?
I did, yes, sir.
So maybe Avery Johnson wouldn't have run as much as he did if he had played. But watching the film or watching that game live, what do you remember about his running ability, and what has been kind of the coaching, what have been the coaching points this week to try to negate that?
Yeah, obviously, it's hard and fun to play a running quarterback, because they can do so much, and you really just gotta, expand your defense and, do more and step it up. So, we're excited for it. His running ability is a threat, and, our goal is to take that away and make him throw the ball. But I'm excited to play. Didn't get to play against him last year, so I'm ready to be out there.
Troy and Justin?
Trey, obviously you had a front row seat watching Avery Johnson last year and being one of his teammates. What makes him an effective quarterback? What did you see out of him?
I think that he's a fast thinker. He's good on his feet. He makes good decisions. I believe that he's also a good leader. He takes control of offense when he needs to, and he just instills confidence in the rest of the players. So I think that that's one thing to always keep in mind about him. When we're going against him is just knowing that he's smart on the field. He has a really good sense of what's happening on the field. He's a good player.
And then Dalton, where do you think the defense has made the biggest improvement from week one and then after the second game against Weber State?
Yeah, I would say finishing the game. Actually, I would change that to starting the game, because versus Hawaii, we came out super slow, and then we figured it out in the second half. So I feel like Weber State, we came out on top, and then we finished until the fourth quarter. So that's something we're definitely striving for again this week, because that's going to be important versus a team like Kansas State. We got to come out fast and we got to finish the game.
Justin and Jason?
Trey, how do you reflect on the couple years that you spent at Kansas State?
Honestly, I look back at those days and I smile, because I feel like I grew a lot there, and I've grown a lot here too. But just coming from high school, going straight into a program like Kansas State, they pride themselves on hard work and responsibility. So I had a lot to learn, just making it to places on time, even without having a car, making sure I had a ride. It was just being early. I had to really grow up at Kansas State. So I think that was huge for me. Was just setting, kind of giving me a formula to how to become a man. And I think that me coming to Arizona has helped me grow and expand off that.
And from your perspective, what's it been like to see Genesis settle into his role at free safety?
Oh, I think it's awesome, man. I've seen it since high school, how skilled he was, And even at Kansas State, you know, I would always check in watching Arizona games to see how he was doing. And I think that his growth overall has been, you know, tremendous. He's a super process-oriented person, just with everything that he does, how he approaches the game. So I think that me coming here, reuniting with him, has also allowed me to take, you know, bits and pieces of how he operates and apply that to my, you know, personal and daily, you know, uses.
Jason and Brian.
For Trey, last year when Kansas State's offense was rolling, what was the biggest reason why?
I think one of the biggest factors with that offense is, you know, they play off energy. You know, when the sideline was quiet over there, heads would go down, and it felt like we were beating ourselves up at certain points in the game. You know, they got like, you know, once we get in your head, it started a snowball effect. So I think that when the energy was super high and, you know, each situation they're able to build off of, I think that's what created such an explosive offense over there. And you had a lot of players, you had a lot of playmakers, like super good players that could play at different positions and move around. So.
And then for Dalton, do you view this game with the jumping competitions in the first few games as a prove-it game at all? Like, not necessarily to yourselves, but others, just in general, like you have something to prove?
I mean, I feel like a lot of people see that, but as far as, you know, defense and the team, you know, each week is a faceless opponent. You know, we're just trying to be the best we can every day. You know, we got a big game in front of us, so it's a great one to win and, you know, move on from that. But yeah, we're just ready to go out there, and if you want to say prove it game, you can. I think we're just ready to play and just, you know, one game at a time, to be honest.
Brian and Justin.
Trey, in camp you had a lot of those kind of wild catches where you were going up over a couple of guys, whatever. But how important was it to be able to find a way to make more than just the contested ones and find yourself like open?
I think that, like I mentioned earlier, just understanding the field, understanding coverage, understanding leverage, those played huge. Those are huge factors in just me growing over the off season and finding ways to get myself open. You know, I've always wanted to be a player that doesn't have to rely on only my physicality and just get covered up, you know, and a ball's thrown to me, oh, he makes a catch. You know, I want to be a well-rounded receiver that can dominate different areas as a receiver. So that was huge for me.
Yeah, and your TD catch against Weber State, it seemed like it was designed to have you open in that space. And can you walk us through that play?
I think that, yeah, you know, I just came across the field and Noah went through his progressions. He saw me open. You know, we had other routes open, cross behind me, but you know, it got the ball to me, and it was a pretty simple play. There wasn't a lot to it, you know what I'm saying? Just got the ball to me, and then the rest just used my feet to get to the end zone.
Last two will be Justin and Michael.
Dalton, as a defensive back, what's it like going up against Trey in practice?
Yeah, you know, I knew Trey was coming here. You know, he's this big body receiver, 6'3", 6'4", if you want to say. But you know, I'm excited, you know, seeing him every day, watching his growth. You know, obviously I'm with Genesis all the time. He always talks about, you know, Trey, you know, building his confidence. And I've definitely seen that. You know, seeing some speed pick up too, you know. So, you know, Trey's a great overall receiver, and just, yeah, I'm glad he's on our team now.
Last question to Michael.
Okay, one for each. Dalton, Riley Wilson got into the game in the second half last week and seemed to be pretty explosive and making a lot of plays. What did you think of his performance and what did he bring to the defense?
Yeah, I'm excited to have Riley back on the field. You know, he's been going through some injuries and stuff, but I think he's a great player. When he gets on that field on the defense, you know, it just kind of lights up. You know, it's just another hungry dog out there, and you know, you can tell how bad he really wants to play and that he loves this game. So you always appreciate teammates like that. So, you know, glad to have him back, and you know, I'm ready to be out there with him, ready to work.
Sure. And Trey, obviously the passing attack was more efficient and effective in the second game versus the first game. Where do you think the improvement came from?
I think that for us, you know, we talk about a response a lot. I feel like a team's got to know when to respond to not only bad plays but good plays as well. And I think that as an overall offense, we were able to keep stacking plays and keeping the energy high. That's something I really believe in. Is the sideline having energy, because that can change the whole momentum of the game. So, energy was high the whole game. Everybody's getting in. When the young dudes get in, keeping the energy up, just allowing everybody to have fun out there, and everyone's playing confident.